We're now going to move to a presentation, a keynote by Dr. M.C. Raj, who has been working on the ocean electoral system for the past few years. And he will tell us as to what he has been doing for the past few years and what have been the achievements so far, what has been the interactions with various political parties, what has been the buy-in with various people who are working on these things. Dr. Raj also is a leader who's been working on Dalit rights and human rights for a long, long time. Globally renowned for this work for the Dalit movement. He is recognized by various forums and is also a Kalmukhi award. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I'm very happy to be amidst you to bring to you certain clarifications on electoral systems in general, but also on proportionate electoral system in particular. Before that, I like to congratulate and thank Jerry, Meenu, Unar, Vivek, and all those who are involved in organizing the event today. Though this is not the first seminar or conference on proportionate electoral system, we have been doing this across the country. This is a very special day and a very special event. That is how I consider it. And I straight away go into the issues of electoral systems today. It is a time to change. We've been having the first past the post electoral system in India and have also faced quite a few problems because of that. Whereas many countries in the world, and most countries in the world, including our neighbor Nepal, have shifted to the proportionate electoral system for varied reasons. It will be good to see, as our elder said, the merits and demerits of both the systems. Before we go into the electoral system per se, we need to situate electoral system. As you all know, electoral system does not stand alone by itself. It is contextualized in a representative democracy. If there is no representative democracy, there won't be an electoral system. So we need to situate that. And democracy, as we know, is power of the people. And if in the world people have to have power, and if governance has to be done through people's power, then democracy becomes a must. And in the experience of countries from time immemorial, with the experience of the indigenous peoples and the experience in governance, we all know that democracy resolves many problems without taking recourse to violence, or at least it is supposed to. Therefore, it's very important also to have a look at democracy, the way it has come to be what it is today. Democracy is very old, and there have been direct democracy in indigenous communities where all members of the communities were involved in decision making about governance. But then the type of democracy that we are speaking of is particularly placed in the context of the emergence of nation states. And nation state is a recent emergence. It is a gradual evolution from the time of enlightenment. After the collapse of monarchy and feudalism, then we have a colonial system that has developed in many parts of the world, but particularly from Europe, which has gone into different continents of the world and has indulged in looting the wealth and resources of poor nations into their part of the world, and then have found that a new form of governance, a democratic form of governance, was a compulsion. In this situation, we need to also understand the emergence of modern and postmodern democracy. Therefore, there is a particular phase when democracy can also be described as colonial democracy. Because it is in the larger context of Enlightenment period that modern and postmodern democracy has its emergence. The wealth and the resources that were brought from different other continents went into Europe, and these had to be shared. And the collapse of feudalism paved the way for new discourses of liberalism, of fraternity, all these. Liberalism meaning that any individual should have the right to invest, to do business, to amass wealth, and to make limitless profit. Individual freedom became a very strong discourse in democratic practices. So this is the type of democracy that started evolving because all individuals wanted to have a right to share in the wealth of the nations that were taken into their country. Europe went through a transformation in governance, and that was given the name democracy. That was given the name democracy. It went through many processes of transformation, but then one contradiction that we need to see is that the type of democracy that was practiced in the Western nations was not the type of democracy that was practiced in all the nations that these colonizers went. There was a basic contradiction there. There they did not establish the same type of governance in the colonized countries. So the emergence of democracy went through these contradictory processes. I will not indulge too much on this, but then finally we have come to a situation where democracy is being imposed on countries at gunpoint, with missiles, with bomb threats, and with military action. That is a new contradiction that is emerging in the trajectory of democracy. You be democratic, otherwise I will destroy your sovereignty. Otherwise I will destroy your nation, and establish democracy. This gives a new meaning to democracy, which means there is a hidden purpose, there is a hidden agenda behind the establishment of democracy by certain forces. So democracy then becomes a handmaid of certain forces with vested interests that we cannot dismiss easily. We are seeing that happening in our own time, even in our own country, in certain states of India, in the northeastern states especially.